I wish I was dead. Hey.
Hey there guys, this is Sam
And Justin.
at the Survival Review, and today we're going to talk about the terrible Death Wish remake that Eli Roth shot out this year.
Yeah.
Whee!
We don't know why we do these things, but
We do it because we don't want you to have to see it.
yeah.
It's the God's work.
No one should have to see this movie.
Yeah, this movie was exactly what we thought it was going to be. We enjoyed the original Death Wish films.
Quite a bit.
They're just sleazy, stupid, fun movies.
I mean, the original tries to be a little more than that, but in the long run, it's still sleazy and exploitation-y.
And that's why a guy like Eli Roth was attracted to it. He is the poor man's Tarantino. He's very inspired by, like, you know, the 70s sleaze and exploitation films, except he doesn't know how to elevate them.
No.
He's just kind of doing it again.
Basically. And then he casts Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Which was another bad idea.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is a guy who can act sometimes. If he has the right script and the right director, he can be...
He will want to act, actually.
Yeah. Like, you look at movies like Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance, and even like more recently with things like Looper, and you can see he can put effort into a role.
Yeah. Like, if he gets a good script and a good director, like, he'll want to try. The problem is that he really doesn't want to try. And so when he gets a shit director like Eli Roth and a shit script...
It just doesn't work.
No. Like, I'm so surprised this movie got released in theaters due to, like, Bruce Willis' recent track record of movies.
I mean, honestly, if there were a movie to just dump onto Netflix, this is it.
So, I don't think you really have to describe the plot of this movie. If you know Death Wish, you know what it is. Just this time, Paul Kersey, who's a doctor, not an architect, and his wife and daughter get assaulted. His wife gets killed, the daughter put in a coma, and, you know, the police can't find the guys who did it and aren't really trying, so he takes the law into his own hands and becomes a vigilante.
Yeah, and that's it. With a concept like that, there's things you can do to elevate that a little bit. There are things that you can do. You can add some social commentary, which this movie clumsily attempts to do at certain points, just when it feels like it.
Yeah, the thing though is that this movie coming out now, it's getting a lot of crap for, like, coming out at the wrong time, a lot of wrong timing due to, like, you know, a lot of gun-related stuff happening lately. Yeah. And to be honest, that's not really a problem. Like, you'd think it would be, because this is a movie about a guy who picks up a gun and goes and kills people. But this movie is done in such a generic, schlocky way that there is no, like, relevance to this movie at all in this day and age. You'd think it would. Like, if the original Death Wish came out, like, today, then, yeah, that'd be a problem, because that's a movie where a guy picks up a gun and goes and shoots muggers.
Yeah, and that, like, that movie sticks to the concept of, like, hey, he's doing a good job, and, like, taking the law into his own hands is a good thing, and he's the hero.
But, like, in that regard, where the original is just him shooting muggers, this one he's, like, shooting drug dealers and, like, shooting stuff like that, to where this just feels like a typical revenge picture, and there's really no connection to real life in it, and that's not the problem with this movie in the slightest.
Yeah, any of the politics or social commentary that this movie attempts to have, it is so surface level and so, like, vague and not really important that it doesn't matter.
No.
None of that is relevant.
No, and going back to what he was saying is that the original Death Wish, its stance is not really correct and not really right, since it's pro-vigilante.
The whole movie, all those movies are just like, hey...
But just getting aside from the sequels, because this is a good movie to compare to the sequels, because it's similar to that. And we don't want to talk about that, because we do like the sequels. But we like them because those are just trying to be schlock.
They were just sleaze.
Yeah, whereas this one and the original were trying to be a little bit more, or at least trying to have a little bit more to it.
We praise those for entirely different reasons.
Yeah, and like we were saying, the original's message isn't the best. Yeah. But like he was saying, it sticks to it. This one, I don't know what it is. It's trying
this movie has, like, a scene where he's talking to a gun store clerk, and she's saying things like, oh, and you'll have to take a gun safety exam, but don't worry, nobody ever fails. And it's kind of getting, like, attempting to comment on, like, gun control in the U.S., I guess. But, like, clearly the rest of the movie just doesn't give a shit about that when he's just going out and he's our hero.
Yeah, because in the movie, he actually gets a nickname, Paul Kersey.
Yeah, a really fucking stupid one. In the original, he was just called the Vigilante. Which is fine.
And this one, because it's the day of social media and people are filming stuff and he's walking around with a hood on, he's the Grim Reaper.
Which, like, in my opinion, if you're gonna bring the whole social media thing in play, which you kind of have to in this day and age, it just makes it that much less believable that nobody ever fucking catches his face.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking down the whole time. Yeah. Doing this isn't gonna stop someone from seeing your face. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's one scene where there's this, like, copycat Grim Reaper goes to stop a mug and he gets killed. And so that's, like, the one scene of them trying to be like, oh, what he's doing is not good.
Yeah, ooh. And
but then, spoiler alert, he gets away with it at the end.
Yeah.
Like, scot-free. Like, no one really finds out that he's the Grim Reaper at the end.
Yeah. There's so many scenes throughout the movie just placed intermittently of these radio hosts talking and saying, oh, do you think he's a hero? I don't think he's a hero, but you know, I think he's a hero, blah, 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 blah. And it's just repetitive and not actually saying anything.
They feel shoehorned in, almost like they were an afterthought. Like, they made this movie and they're like, oh wait, this is a movie about, like, a vigilante, we should have some social commentary, so let's just shoot this stuff. Because all that stuff just, like, takes place over establishing shots of Chicago.
Yep.
Which is what's 50% of this movie, is establishing shots of Chicago. Which, it's nice to see Chicago, because that's where we're from, and it's always nice to see Chicago represented in a movie.
Yeah.
But like...
just shots of it that don't really...
It's clear. You can clearly tell that, like, this movie was not shot in Chicago, except for, like, a few select scenes, because they try to remind you that it's Chicago. Because every other scene starts with a wide, like, helicopter establishing shot of the city. If we thought the first movie, the original Death Wish, was on the nose with this thing, the opening scene of this movie,
it just starts out with, like, audio of. Oh, 48 people have died in the city of Chicago this weekend, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, there have been 746 gun-related murders in Chicago in this year, blah, blah, blah. And it just keeps happening, not only in the first scene, that's like the first audio we hear, but that just keeps getting placed throughout the movie, all over the place, just to remind you, oh, crime is up.
Yeah.
Crime is bad in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's really bad. Like, and I'm not saying it isn't in real life, but this movie just does it in such an over-the-top way of trying to hammer it in.
Yeah,
like,
it's just shoving it down your throat. Like, do you get it?
Crime is bad.
Yeah.
And then,
it's just really clumsy.
Yeah, and then, like, we kind of briefly mentioned Bruce Willis. But, yeah, Bruce Willis doesn't give a shit in this movie.
No.
There's a couple scenes where he kind of tries a little bit.
A tiny bit.
Yeah.
There's one scene where, I guess we just don't give a shit about spoilers. There's nothing to spoil. When he's looking over his wife's dead body, a couple tears come out. There was almost a hint of emotion there.
That was the one scene where I thought he was decent. Like, I believed him in that one scene. If
he were consistently that level throughout the whole movie, maybe I would have been like, okay, it was fine.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
And there's one scene near the end where he's interrogating one of the guys who's involved in his wife's murder, and, like, he goes full John McClane, and it's so weird because tone-wise, it's inconsistent with the rest of the movie. Yeah. But also, like, it just seems weird because he seemed like he was kind of trying in that one scene, like he was having fun. And he was not enjoying himself for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, my guess is they filmed that scene first.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, he was just, like, so fucking bored and done with it that he didn't bother trying.
Yeah. And also, there's a scene in the original Death Wish when it's the first time he kills a guy.
Yeah.
And he's obviously shaken by, like...
It's not like Charles Bronson is the best actor in history. We're not claiming that. But you know what? He shot a guy in that... And he's pouring himself some whiskey afterwards, and his hands are shaking. At least his hands are shaking a little bit. They didn't even attempt to give Bruce Willis any kind of, like, remorseful behavior.
He kills the guy, like, just so matter-of-factly.
Very cold
and
emotionless. And then his response to it is just like he watches it on TV, and he's like, huh. I did that.
Yeah. And there's one weird scene where he's like laying on the couch, like trying to go to sleep, and it's like quick cutting to like flashbacks of like, him shooting the guys and like his wife and daughter. And you think it's supposed to be the scene of him kind of like of like him killing a guy, like affecting him. But Willis is so emotionless that I couldn't tell what that scene was or what the point of it even was.
Like you get what they're doing.
Yeah.
But when the performance is that bad and that different from their attempt, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and like he just brings down like every scene he's in because the rest of the acting in this movie is solid.
Yeah, there's some pretty good performances. Vincent D'Onofrio is pretty good.
Vincent D'Onofrio should have been Paul Kersey.
Honestly, he would have been a way better Paul Kersey, or even Dean Norris.
Yeah,
who played the cop. He was good.
Yeah, like the thing about Vincent D'Onofrio is every scene he's in with Bruce Willis is so awkward because he's just acting circles around Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is just like, I don't give a shit about this character.
There's a scene where like his daughter has a seizure and they have to like tie her down and he's just like, oh, like he's supposed to be all emotional, like they handcuffed my daughter down, and he's so blank and emotionless. And then you see Vincent D'Onofrio, who is his brother, so like he's her uncle, and he's like almost in tears at that, and it's like the exact polar opposite.
I got respect for D'Onofrio. Even though he's in a bunch of just shit roles,
yeah,
he usually actually tries.
Yeah, easily.
And you can tell. So, thumbs up to Vincent.
Yeah, like he was the most entertaining character. Like, and this movie fucking drags.
Yes, that's the major thing. I don't know what the runtime actually was, like
it's like an hour 40. Like
it felt like 2+ hours.
Yeah.
It really, there were several scenes toward the end where we're like, okay, is it over? Oh, fuck. No. Why is it? Where are the credits?
Yeah, there's like one bad guy left, and the bad guy like calls up Bruce Willis and just like, meet me at this place in 30 minutes. And I'm like, all right, here's the climax. But it's not.
No, it's just, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that was just really stupid.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, you know what scene I forgot about was there's a very, very brief scene where he goes to his wife's funeral. And
oh my god!
I know.
Yeah.
And it's her dad. They're in the car and they're talking about something, and the movie just stops for a second because the dad sees something, and it's so poorly like
executed.
Yeah, like he just stops and we're like, okay, what are you stopping for? You got to kind of cut and show it, and he pulls into this thing and there's like, there's poachers, and he shoots at him, and we were both laughing.
Yeah,
because we were just like, this is so bad.
And then that's where it gets on the nose, where it's just like. Like, oh, cops won't protect us. We gotta protect ourselves.
Yes.
It's like,
just like, okay.
Okay.
We get it. You can stop, like, fucking tossing this at our face.
It's similar to the original Death Wish, where the first half is more serious than the last. And that's kind of how this one is, too, where the first half tries to be more serious. The thing about this one, though, is you could tell the exact moment where it turns into, like, schlock, when it cuts to a freaking montage of Bruce Willis learning how to use his gun, set to back in black.
Yeah. It's like, come the fuck on.
Oh my
You're
God.
gonna go from, like, serious emotional moments of a man losing his family to back in black montage.
Yeah, with, like, split screen effects going on and stuff. Like.
Yeah, that was one issue that I have with the original film, is that, like, that disconnect between the tone in the first half and the second half.
But the transition isn't as jarring.
It's not as abrupt.
And like this movie has some good gore effects. That's like the one positive.
Yeah, and that's, again, we said this was exactly what we thought it was going to be. I knew that was going to be like one of the positives that I'd give it.
Yeah.
Eli Roth is a guy who's fond of practical gore effects.
Oh yeah.
And whenever they were there in this movie, they were good.
They're good. There's very few and far between, but when they happened, they were good and they were effective and they were cool. And like even kind of like the last like half of the movie where it does turn to complete schlock and it's Bruce Willis going after these guys was like alright in a schlocky way.
If the movie just consistently kept that tone, and was like, I don't know what I'd compare. It's just something that doesn't take itself too seriously and is just having fun with the concept.
Yeah, or if it
the whole time.
It shouldn't have even been Death Wish. It should have been just like a different movie. Like could have made Bruce Willis like an ex-cop who's like retired or something, and he's going to get revenge, and made a complete schlock. Yeah. Like, then that would have been okay.
That would have been perfectly tolerable.
Yeah.
I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
It really just feels like Eli Roth, like, didn't give a shit.
Well, Eli Roth I always just think of as, like, he's like like a teenager.
Yeah.
Making movies. That's not to say we would do much better.
No.
But
No.
His movies come across as kind of childish.
Yeah. This is kind of like what a teenager like would do if he was making a Death Wish movie.
Yeah, and more power to him for actually managing to get these made. The big thing with him is he doesn't understand tone. All his movies are very tonally inconsistent.
Yeah.
And
this one too, easily.
Yeah, this one very much.
Like
so.
I couldn't tell like what was going on with Paul Kersey as a character. Like at first he's kind of like distraught and sad over the death, but then and yeah, there is a scene in the original where he's kind of like happy and go lucky after he starts killing the bad guys. But it's kind of like one scene, and he wasn't like a changed character. Like you can still kind of see that this wasn't like something he was happy to be doing.
Yeah, that's the sequels.
Yeah, that's the sequels where he's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll kill these guys.
Yeah.
These just kind of feel like he was something he kind of like just feels like he needs to do. Whereas in this one, like he's like smirking and grinning. There's a scene where he's talking to a psychiatrist, and they're like, "Oh, you look a lot better now." He's like, "Oh, I'm feeling a lot better."
Well, whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Okay, I will.
What else is there to say? You already knew this movie was going to be bad.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be bad, and we still went to see it.
Yeah, Edward, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not the worst thing out there.
That's pretty much how I felt about most of Eli Roth's movies.
Yeah.
Are like, they're not the worst thing ever. They're very, just like, middle of the road, whatever.
And this one's kind of like right in the middle of the road for the most time, which made it feel even like worse and even more generic and like lazy.
The thing about it is, like, I just wanted him to go, like, further in one of the directions.
Yeah.
If you're going to make it emotional and whatever, do that. Or if you're gonna make it extreme, go extreme. He's known for doing extreme movies. Like the Hostel movies don't hold back.
No.
But this movie somehow holds back a lot of
it.
There are gory moments, but it really,
it's just
I don't
moments.
know. They're just they're sparse.
Yeah.
And he really needed to like crank it to 11 for that kind of movie if you're gonna go that way.
Or he needed to not direct it and get like a
get
director.
Get somebody to direct it, or just not make a fucking Death Wish remake.
Yeah. In general, it's just a bad movie.
Yeah. Neither of us recommend it. If you can't tell. Don't go see it. Go watch something better. Except there's not really anything better.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. We never talked about Black Panther.
No.
Go see
Black Panther.
Or Annihilation. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Go see something like that other than Death Wish.
Bye. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about this terrible movie.
Yeah. But we're gonna make up for it.
Yeah, we'll make up for it. We have plans to. We just recently rewatched the original Death Wish to kind of get it fresh in our head, and we also want to rewatch the sequels because I haven't actually seen all of the sequels, but I'm sure I'll have some stuff to say about those as well.
And we originally planned to like do that like before the remake came out in preparation, but we just did not have time. Yeah. And we're just gonna reverse the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the
catch up, get the crap out of the way first, and talk about some schlocky fun for a bit, and just have a good time.
And we'll finally have a good review this year from the both of us.
Yes, because everything we've talked about so far, we hated.
Yeah.
So until then, we will see you guys next time.